Okay, for this video, I want to just share some things from my outline, um, and I'd like to share things that stood out to me a lot in what we've been learning. Mainly 2 points from this outline, which I'll upload to the discussion board with a link to this video. Both of which have to deal with discussion groups. But I took these items from the questions that were asked. So the first one deals with component display theory and the need to maintain balance between the teacher / leader talking and the participant talking. And the question wanted to know how what I'm doing to maintain that balance throughout my lesson plans. And I just went through and I talked about how this is sometimes a difficult thing to accomplish. For some educators or teachers, it's easy to slide into a lecture style teaching. And this can happen because the teacher is nervous or perhaps frightened by the prospect of inviting others to share their thoughts. And this is so because they may be concerned that what they're going to share, they either don't have an answer to, or they don't know how to deal with it for whatever reason. So they're frightened by the unknown, by what might happen. And then I just talked about how if the teacher learns the material well and is prepared appropriately, then they'll be able to handle these kind of situations that may be more challenging than others. One possible way to deal with this is by stating that you don't know the answer, but you will research it and find an answer. And that's a good way to respond because it's okay that you don't know everything. It's an unrealistic expectation to have told, like, you can't know everything and people can't expect you to know everything. But it is a reasonable expectation to go and research and find the answer, or to help them find answers. And this is also good because if it can help diffuse a potentially hostile situation. If somebody brings up some material that you're not familiar with, or that's contrary to what you are viewing, you don't necessarily want other participants to be involved in a discussion that really should take place between you and that person after the workshop or the discussion. So that's a great way to take care of that and to be respectful of the other people who are there. In interest of time, I'll skip to my next question. So the next thing that I covered was what have I learned about involving others in the discussion? And I really love this question because I have had several opportunities to interact in different kinds of teaching / discussion experiences. I've had one-on-one sessions. I've had 2-on-1 sessions or 2 on a group session. That's where there's a dual teacher situation, and a 1 to a group situation. And in these settings, I've been able to use skills and I've learned how to prompt discussions. And in the probably my favorite interactions, I love the one-on-one because I feel like that's very personable, and it's fairly easy to have a conversation as long as both are good listeners, or at least one person's a good listener. And that's by good listener I mean an active listener, where they are actively involved in the conversation. We're listening to the person and responding in a way to show that person that they are listening and that they intend to respond in a way that will either be helpful or further the discussion. The group discussion, I really love group discussions more than I do giving a lecture, because I fully believe that the people in the group have a lot to share. They have a lot of knowledge. You're bringing together this mastermind group, and I believe that the goal of the instructor, or in this case the discussion leader, is to tap into that knowledge and to allow that to be shared with others. One of my favorite ways of doing this, I've used this model before. So I'll have taught a principle and shared perhaps a few examples. I like the use of media in like just a visual video or PowerPoint, whatever it may be. But then I'll break people up into groups of 4 or 5 people and give them a prepared statement and have them discuss it. And after they've read it, discussed it with each other, then I will break them up even lower to maybe groups of 3 or 4, give them another statement to talk about and give them time to discuss that. And finally, I'll break them up into groups of 2, so it's that one-on-one discussion. And by this time, hopefully, most people will be with someone that they've been in with for the other 2 times they've been discussing, so they're comfortable with each other. They've already broken that ice, and the goal is that they'll have a good solid discussion. And at the end of this, we'll all come back together as a whole, and we'll just share highlights about what we've learned. And I believe that more people have learned from this discussion type practice, and there's different ways to do it, that people have learned more from those kind of discussions than any type of lecture that's taken place. Now, don't get me wrong, I think lectures are good. You can learn a lot from them. But discussion is a great way for learning to take place and a lot of learning to happen. So that is my outline that I will share with you.